Brace yourself, I take you on a trip down memory lane. This is not a rapper, I'm slinging crack or moon cocaine. This is cold as second, plenty cognac and major pain. Not the drill sergeant, but the stress that weighing on your brain. It was BL Boogie, yeah, YG Lucky. Ride down Rosecrans, it got ugly. Waving your hand out the window, check yourself. Warriors and Conans, hope euphoria can slow dance with society. The driver's seat, the first one to get killed. That was back when I was 9. Joey packed a 9. Back to stand on every porch is fine. We adapt to crime.
I don't enjoy hurting people. The only thing I want is be the best in the world.
From the producer of Fahrenheit 9/11 and the director of Generation Iron comes an exploration of the most controversial sport in the world.
We're all compelled to do it.
It's gonna keep getting bigger.
The Hurt Business. In select movie theaters September 29th only. Tickets available at fathomevents.com.
So what do you think stands out to you as one of the key things that you've accomplished in here?
We got a chance to get on board with the Arnold Classic, as you mentioned earlier.
Amazing, yeah.
We went and got a chance to represent.
Exciting.
Yeah, we also did a lot of filming. Man, we got. I was able to get. Well, we were able to get signed to Generation Iron, and behind the scenes, it put me in a place where I was able to accept new titles that would become more challenging in what I expected from myself, and developing new skill sets in the way of, I guess, how do you say it, working with the production stuff behind the scenes.
For us it was easy, we just had to follow you, but you actually had to compete. Did you feel pressure, competing? I know obviously you did it for so many years, but at that specific year, did you feel any pressure because you did 3 in a row? And there was a lot of filming going on, a lot of dynamic muscle stuff, a lot of different work you have to do behind the scenes that people don't know about,
Well, you know what? I think the pressure this time around was very different. It was definitely in more than an abundance. One of the differences between being an amateur, I remember, and being a professional bodybuilder, and then a professional bodybuilder aiming to be at the top of the food chain. One of the things that I can recall being very, very, very intense is the inability to relent and just accept that, I'll do it next year.
Absolutely. Now, before we talk about some of the specific things, we're about 4 days away from the Olympia. I just want to confirm with you. I know everybody wants to get it out of you, whether you're doing it or not doing it, but we just want to confirm right here that you're not going to be on stage at the Olympics.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm definitely I will not be participating in it. Yeah, absolutely.
The biggest highlight of this year's Olympia is Kevin, how do you say his name, Levrone or Levrone?
I've always said Levrone.
That's what I thought, but I didn't hear people call him Levrone, so.
I've heard that too, but then sometimes people I've heard say Greene, instead of Kai Greene, so.
Oh, just Kevin, let's go on. Kevin the legend.
Yeah, the legend. See, I've said his name in front of him, and I didn't get corrected. So I believe it's Levrone.
Okay,
and when I heard him say it, I never heard him say anything other than Levrone. So
he's, I think he's the highlight of everybody's talking about him making a comeback. Some people say it's a mistake because obviously they think he'll never be able to, be on the same level as he used to be. So he might damage his legacy, or even, get health problems because of that. And some people praise him because he will give hope to a lot of people. So. What is your general take on his comeback?
Yeah, man, I would love to see him do. But here's the thing, too, I realized that whether he came in there and blew this whole competition away, or he came in there and respectably looked amazing, it still can't be a failure. I mean, truth is, I don't know, most people that call themselves fans or enthusiasts of this sport, if you look back at the history of this experience, you'll see that there's a lot of athletes that were at the peak of their career, did some really awesome things, became some of the ideal legends of our sport, and then had to step away. And then came back at another time talking about, hey man, I'm gonna make a comeback. I'm gonna. And it sounds great, but something about when you step into the actual trenches of the experience and put on that full armor, end up realizing that this is not as easy as I remembered it to be. And in fact, the same stresses that I remembered 4 years ago or 8 years ago when I was aiming to be that aspiring bodybuilding champion. I was really, really hungry. Oh, well, you know what? Damn, it used to hurt me so much. I remember when my shoulders hurt so bad every day. Or I remember when the lactic acid felt like, I remember when I put 400 pounds on my back and it felt like my knees are gonna break. I remember when. So as a result, it's one thing to talk about coming back, but in the process of trying to do it, ended up realizing it's gonna be a little bit more demanding, and I'm probably not as prepared for it today as I was 10 years ago, and bow out. They let themselves off the hook. They didn't come back. You know, we saw them talk about it. I'm talking about the Paul Dillettes. I'm talking about the Sean Rays. I'm talking about some, not trying to say anything negative, but the truth is, it's a really intense process. And when you see somebody like Kevin Levrone, that's, you know, he said this months ago, and here we are weeks before, or days before, I forget these things. But he's still in there, and he's aiming to fight the good fight. You have no choice but to want to support him, want to, you know, definitely recognize the idea that he represents, but understand that that idea is so great that even if he did not come in there and blow away the competition, it does not mean that his efforts are not worth, you know, the recognition of being something truly great.
I mean, he succeeded by getting that attention on him. I think that's already a victory.
Well, he was going to get attention anyway, because he's a legend. I mean, there's work that he's already done that he kind of like put into the bank. You know, he didn't have to qualify for the Olympia this year.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, there are other athletes that, you know, have worked to put money in the organization, that have put money in the bank, helped sell seats and tickets last year and the year before that. But still, because they didn't place in the top 6 or they didn't place 5th, they had to come back and do a lower level pro show to earn the qualification to get the invite back to the Olympia.
Who do you think will do better, Dexter Jackson or Sean Roden this year?
You know what? First of all, you can't sleep on Dexter because, you know, he is the original mutant Ninja Turtle, and he is definitely a mutant. Definitely a mutant. We got a chance to see him. He came to New York this year. Yeah, he came to New York this year. And we got a chance to interview with him with Generation Iron, I think the weekend of the show. If you get a chance, you got to look at this interview. But man, I got offered a treat. Now, it's not really customary for me to have had an opportunity, you know, to kind of not be a competitor in the fray of competing and venture off into the posing room, you know, days before the competition and not be preoccupied with thinking about myself and actually be able to be available to witness something that was, you know, just being able to see another athlete disrobe and stand there that I would otherwise be preoccupied by competing with. Well, truth is, Dexter Jackson was there, and man, it was so awesome for me to have that opportunity because, you know, when he took off his clothes without tweaking and turning and blowing down or anything, he was just already just like perfection, you know. His hamstrings were just hanging off the bone. It's just amazing. Just a very, very, very awesome physique. So, you know what? He was able to do very, very well last year, you know, exceedingly well last year. Some people probably would not have thought that this dude would have come in and placed second. And then when you consider the fact that, wow, he won the Olympia, went back in the ranking, and then came back last year and placed second, and some people arguably had him first. You know, he's definitely somebody not to sleep on, and he's a really, really good guy.
Sean Roden is, I think people always put him in number 3 category, but it's like he's
Sean Roden is no spring chicken, but dude, you want to talk about an amazing and, you know, underrated physique, I would say. You know, I still don't think that we've gotten a chance to really see what promise, you know, lurks beneath his surface. I haven't seen him get the credit that he really deserves because this guy he's amazing. If you ever get a chance, I know recently when we were in Australia, we were training at Tony Doherty's gym, and Tony Doherty's original gym, the one that he has like a history of like 30 years, 30 or 20 years of history. There are photos on the wall taken of Sean Roden I believe at the Olympia 2010. No. Either 2010 or 2012. Dude. Wow. It would be really, really awesome to see what he brings to the Olympia this year. Just because we just talk about clean lines, a beautiful physique.
Absolutely.
Brings a condition. Definitely something to watch out for. Victor Martinez at his 60%, well, I'd say maybe 75%, was still, at one time the deadliest athlete in the sport of professional bodybuilding. I'm talking like 2007, 2006, 2005. I mean, well, you still had Ronnie Coleman back, but I mean, Ronnie aside, Victor Martinez was just a real force. And, rumor has it that he's kind of tapped into that, now. So it'll be really, really interesting to see. I would really like to see him do well,
And then lastly, Big Ramy. So everybody keeps talking about him a lot every year. It's huge expectations for him as well to succeed because he just, the frame is so big, obviously. But just so many different options. Right? Where would you put him?
I'm reminded of a story I've heard Frank Zane tell about Arnold in their old stories, their classic stories. And I remember Frank Zane saying in an audience-filled room one day that he remembered sitting backstage somewhere and hearing Arnold critique some other athletes that were on stage earlier in front of him, and he said that the athlete was talking with Arnold, and Arnold said to him, "Wow, if I had your physique, I would win." And Frank Zane had said that when he heard this, he kind of took an issue with this. Why? Because he said that he can recall a time when he was at Arnold's company and he heard Arnold Schwarzenegger say the same thing to him. "Wow, you know what? Hey, little guy." He said, "If I had your physique, I would win." And he said, "Wow, he thought about that a little bit. Well, why does he just tell this to everybody?" You asked me about Ramy. I think if I had Ramy's physique, I would win. If I had Ramy's physique, I would have won. So yeah, that's a whole nother game altogether. Hey, thank you.